until we're there. Setting it up right now, I think. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hopefully everybody can see us. It's Carrie Hinshaw and the Key Associates signature team, and we are live again here at 4. And today we're going to talk about inspections. But before we do that, I'm going to let some of the newer agents that you haven't seen in the last two do some introductions, and then we have a guest speaker today as well. So take it, Jacob, and let us know about yourself.
All right, I'm Jacob Winkler. I'm from Santa Claus originally, and my family's always been in Santa Claus. I just moved to Dale with my fiance here last year. You know, I've done pretty well as a part-time agent here at Key, and Kara's really helped me along the way with, you know, everything that comes up, and been a lot of listings and a lot of buyings, and I'm just, you know, glad to be a part of this team. So,
well, you do a great job. So. Good job. And next is Pam Tesh.
Hello, everybody. I'm Pam Tesh with Key Associates, Signature Realty. I've been selling real estate for a couple of years now, and it's going well. I am glad to pick up any new clients that are looking for a realtor, and I'd love to help you with listing or selling, and just give us a call anytime.
Very good. Well, and we also have a special guest. It's not a Key Associates agent, but welcome to our Live at 4, Mark Rainford. Why don't you give it a little introduction where you're from?
Hello, yes, I'm Mark Rainford. I'm with Checkmark Real Estate Inspections. I grew up in northern Indiana, and I've lived around the country, but been in southern Indiana since 1996. Come with a construction background, and I've been doing inspections for about 5 years now, and I wide range of inspecting. We'll go into more detail, I think, as we go further through this presentation.
Yeah, we will get into that for sure. So what we're going to do first, we'll welcome Mark. Thanks for getting on the call or webinar with us. We appreciate that. Yeah, no problem. So to start off like we normally do, let me go ahead and try to share my screen. I'm going to take everybody off for a second. Here is our 7-day market update. Currently, again, new contracts are way ahead of new listings, guys. We are at 136 contracts, which are pending homes. This is, again, Vanderburg, Warwick, Spencer, Du Bois, and Perry in the last 7 days. So a lot of buyers out there, guys. We're still competing very heavily for listings to come on the market with only 89 this past 7 days, and closing still pretty heavy in the pipeline at 104. So again, really low inventory, guys. If anybody's looking at potentially listing their home in any of the areas, obviously we have agents in all the counties today, mostly covering more the Spencer, Du Bois, Perry area. But definitely give us a call if you have any questions or thinking about selling. I don't know, Jacob or Pam, if there's specific, you know, homes that you guys are working with right now or buyers that you can't find, but it seems to be the same problem every week. It's that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, everything from 180 to 235,000, and some homes obviously with acreage as well. So if there's anything else out there that doesn't fit that picture that we see every week, you know, you guys can feel free to jump in, but I assume that's the same you guys are seeing as well.
yep. Lots of first-time buyers that I'm trying to help out, and we can't find anything right now. So really needing.
Yeah, there. I mean, if you look at even under 120,000, there's nothing. It's really just the inventory is non-existent almost. It's really, really, really low. I think for Spencer County, I looked under 100,000 today, and all of Spencer County was only 8 listings, which is not a lot. So. Pam, were you going to say something? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I have, you know, I have buyers looking in that right around that 100,000 price point, a little higher, a little lower, but yeah, there's limited inventory, and what is out there is needs a lot of love. So
yeah, exactly.
You know,
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay, so with that said, just to let everybody know what was going on in the market, like I said, we don't really like to dwell on it, but just give everybody an update. We are going to move into inspections. Obviously, inspections are a part of every home buying and selling deal. And so there's a lot of questions that may come up. So with that said, I'm going to bring Mark into this, which he did introduce himself with check mark. But the first thing I'm going to ask you, Mark, is in regards to just like when people go to get inspections on a home, what kind of inspections do they do? Like, what are the typical things people would look for?
On a typical one, on a residential home inspection, we'll look at your full-fledged residential home inspection, which includes everything from your roof down to your foundation, attic included, roof surface, that kind of thing, all the way doors, windows, electrical throughout the house, plumbing, appliances, HVAC. We'll run all your HVAC equipment that we can and look at how it's functioning, age all that equipment. Then we do I probably 90% of the homes that I inspect, I do a termite inspection included or along with it. It's an additional cost, but I do it at the same time. And then we can also do some radon testing, well water testing if you have that as an issue. I do septic dye testing. And again, that's just putting dye in the system and checking for any kind of breaks or leaks. So
this is gonna sound stupid, but what's a septic dye test system? Because some people watching this may be like, what is that? I know what that is, but it's for like a septic tank, right?
Yeah, so if you have a septic system, we can put dye in your waste system, and then you look at the fingers and look for any kind of blockage. The dye should work its way to the surface if there's a blockage in one of the fingers.
Just wanted to clarify because some people may not understand that.
Yep, it's not a full-fledged. We don't open the tanks or anything like that. It's just looking to see if there is a break or a stoppage in a system in one of the fingers.
Good.
So,
well, thank you.
Yep. Oh, now my questions for you. Are you a member in good standing of a professional inspectors organization?
I am. I'm a member of InterNACHI, and I actually did all my training through InterNACHI, International Association of Certified Electrical Inspectors. And I'm also a member of ASHI, which is another one of the main inspector groups.
Okay.
Is it how many inspector groups are there usually? I mean,
those are the two main ones. There may be some smaller ones out there, but those are the two main ones.
Okay, got it.
So in addition to being members of those two organizations, are you licensed as well?
Yes, of course. State requires licensing, and I'm current and up to date on all my licensing. Yep.
It's kind of like a real estate agent. We gotta keep our license up, continue to get and all that good stuff. Okay, so one question people ask is how long does an inspection actually take for a seller or a buyer? You know, sellers obviously want to know for when they leave the house, but how long does an inspection take?
On the average house, 2.5 hours. I try to, and I encourage the buyers to try to be there towards the end. And so we'll have a walkthrough, and typically that walkthrough will take anywhere from 15 to 20, half an hour. So, 2.5 to 3 hours on an average house.
And what's an average house considered to you? I mean, square foot.
Up to 2,500 square foot house, I would say.
Okay, got it. Okay.
In line with that, how much are you seeing that these normal inspections, the average inspection is costing for a 2,500 square foot house?
For my rates, I can't speak for anybody else, but my rates are up to a 2,500 square foot house is $300, and then every 500 feet above that goes up $50. And then I do a termite inspection. If it's a standalone, it's $85. But like I say, if I do it while I am doing the inspection, I charge $45 for it. So, and then radon is typically $150. I include a dye test for free if there's a septic system there.
Okay.
And then the water testing, if we run across that, that's usually $75 for that. So.
And
again, on an average house, a person is going to spend anywhere from $300 to $400 on an inspection.
Okay, that's good to know. So your 400 is a good average. 350 to 400, you can pretty much say that's going to be your cost on an inspection, correct?
Right, right. With any add-ons at all, yes.
And do you have a place where clients or buyers can find a cost sheet on your stuff, like a website or anything like that?
Yes, I have a website, and I will have to cheat for that since I don't use it. So it is checkmarkinspections.net.
Okay.
And I do have a Facebook page as well, so you can find me on Facebook.
So if you just search for Checkmark, you'll pretty much show up, right? Okay.
It should be the only one.
And all the costs are on there, or just to contact you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. And your next question.
So, Mark, can the buyers who are paying for the inspections and the agents accompany you on the inspection if they choose to be there?
I encourage that, actually, and definitely encourage them to be there towards the end, the buyers. They're always welcome anytime, but it gets pretty boring for them, so sometimes they don't want to sit through a whole inspection, but I encourage them to be there towards the end so we can at least cover anything that I found. It always looks better if I can talk about the things instead of just seeing it in a report. The reports can be kind of cumbersome sometimes and overwhelming maybe, so it's always nice if we can walk through and actually I can point out anything that we might have come up with. So definitely encourage it.
How long do your reports take to get out once you're done with inspections?
Hours. A matter of hours. It's 95% of the time it's the same day towards the end.
And those are big reports, aren't they? I mean, they're like a book.
These are 35 to 40 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah, they definitely cover every angle from plumbing, electrical, roof, everything pretty much, right?
Yes, they do.
You don't cover pools and stuff, correct?
No, I don't do pools at all. I will look at, some of the structure around the pools, the sidewalks and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't do pool inspections themselves, no.
Okay. You call a pool company would make more sense there.
Right, yes.
Okay, Jacob, you're the next. Question for you.
Do you have any references?
I have tons of references available anytime, just ask. Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would talk highly. Mark does a very good job.
I appreciate it.
So my question, when it's kind of one of those things, when typically you see inspections, what is the number one thing? This is probably more from a seller perspective. Do you find that pop up that are neglected or that, are surprises that most people aren't checking on? And sometimes I would even say from a seller perspective, may want to try to get an inspection before they list, correct? I mean,
I would encourage that. I think that's always a good idea to be prepared. You prepare for surprises that way. But probably the big things that we ever see or that I come across are roof problems, water problems. Water is always a problem intruding the house. So that's, one of the big things that I'll look for. And one of the things that pops up quite a bit, electrical problems. And usually most of the time, electrical problems are smaller problems, but they're still important safety or issues that should be taken care of. And people can live with those for a long time and not realize they have a problem until something happens. So those are probably
especially your crawl space, right? You don't crawl in your crawl space very often, so you don't know what's going on down there.
There aren't too many people that inspect their own crawl space. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I always tell sellers, I think they should do it. I mean, it's not all buyers getting inspections. I think some sellers really should take the time before they list and get some inspections done so they're not surprised, during the actual home buying pending process. So then at least know what they're expecting if there's repairs there. So any other questions from you two? Am I missing anything?
Yeah, do you carry errors and omissions insurance, and what does that cover?
Yes, I carry errors and omissions, and I am also bonded. Got $1 million bond, so I'm insured, fully insured.
So what does that cover? What does that mean for the home buyer or even the home seller?
I'm not going to do any damage to their house, and I've covered for liability to their house. If I've got full coverage insurance. So.
Yeah. So if anything happens while you're at the house, or just liability insurance.
Right.
So, okay, got it. Okay. Anything else from you, Jacob?
So I was kind of wanting to know more about your continuing education. We do it every year, and I just completed mine last week, actually. I just wanted to know what sort of education do you have to do, and especially right now, are you doing yours all online?
I am, yes, so I'm required, probably similar to what you guys are required with your real estate licensing. I'm required to have 32 hours of continuing education every year. I usually, most years, I try to build on what I've already done. I might do some classes in some roofing. I might do something in HVAC. I might do something in electrical. This year, I have keyed on radon. I want to advance my radon testing skills, and so that's what I've been keying on this year. So, but every year, like I say, it's always related to something to do with my inspection business and trying to build on what I already have trained and what I already know.
Okay.
Very good. So you do stuff in addition to, on top of what you're required, just to help you get better at the area of inspections, correct?
Right, exactly. I don't know that we can all learn something every day. So
That is true. Every deal, sometimes I tell people we learn stuff.
yep.
So I had a question. A lot of times there'll be things that come up in the inspection reports. Do you actually do repairs or help people with that? Or do you have people that you recommend, that or things that might come up?
So no, I'm for one thing, I'm not allowed to do that. The state doesn't allow us to do any work in the house for a year after we've inspected the house, and
Okay.
so we're not allowed to.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's a conflict of interest
That
possibility.
makes sense.
We don't want to do that. So, and for the same reasons, I don't typically recommend anybody. I can give out a few names and then let the buyer make a choice. But yeah, I don't do any work in the house after I'm finished with it.
Okay, got it. So you just give the report, and I understand that in regards to giving names for recommendations, unless it's something pretty specific, because there's probably not tons of old people out there for repair, but other stuff,
landscaping, that kind of thing, where I can throw some names around with some of that stuff. And I do know a few different electricians, and I'll usually give them a couple of names and let them choose from those people. So that kind of thing.
I've got something to add to that. Your reports now, they don't include any repair costs, correct? Because you're not an expert in that.
Exactly. I don't pretend to be. So no, I don't include any cost, repair costs with the report. So.
Got it. I think we covered a lot. Am I missing anything, guys? Is there anything else, Mark, that you want to tell us that we haven't asked you that you may want to highlight to make sure people out there know about you and your business?
I don't think so. I think we've covered everything here pretty well. Again, I have been around the area for quite a few years, and I know the area well, and I know a lot of people around here. So I just would like an opportunity to meet a few more. So.
What were you doing before inspections? Weren't you kind of in construction, if I remember correctly, or maybe not?
I work construction. I actually worked in an electrical trade for 30 years. I started out my career. I always say I was flipping houses before it was cool. I think I bought and sold 10 houses throughout my life and gone through, done major repairs on them. And so I've been doing that for a long time. I've got a pretty varied background in that. And again, I specialized in electrical work for 30 years then on top of that. So
now I know who to call for electrical. I didn't know that.
It's
hard to find electrical sometimes.
Electricians are typically jacks of all trades. We do a little bit of everything.
That's good to know.
Plus the specialty that we were involved in. So
cool.
That's where I come from.
Well, very good. You two guys have any other questions for Mark or us?
I have one for whoever might be watching. What's the sort of area you cover? Your radius, where you're based out of, and how far are you willing to travel to inspect a home?
So I cover everything in southern Indiana, and that pretty much goes from Vincennes to all the way across to Scottsburg, Seymour now and then, Bedford, and then
wow, you go pretty far.
No, I cover all of southern Indiana for the most part. So I live by Patoka Lake. Anywhere I go is an hour away, it seems like. So it really doesn't matter where I'm going. So if you need anything done in southern Indiana, give me a call.
And what's your phone number, Mark, just so everybody knows?
812-639-6028. And email is email is checkmarkinspections01 at gmail.com.
And I just want to give a plug out for your inspection reports. They're one of the easiest ones to read and go through. So that's
Good.
great. I love that.
Oh, that was nice of you,
Good,
Pam.
thank
It's true.
Look at that. Good job, Mark.
All right.
Well, I really appreciate Mark you joining us. And if anybody's looking for homes, call Pam or Jacob. And if anybody is looking for an inspector, feel free to call Mark to get, quotes and, whatever you may need help with. So everybody have a great weekend and happy Friday.
Thank you.
See
Have
ya.
a good one. Thanks,
Have a good
everyone.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.